Hey, Pamela Bruner here with my 5 top tips to minimize distractions. So, to be truthful, I'm not ADHD, which is great. I'm very grateful for that. But as an entrepreneur, we've got that many things coming at us on a daily basis. So you've got notifications blowing up, Facebook and Instagram want your attention. You know, my team's slacking me stuff. I've got texts buzzing through on my phone. And how do you get anything done in this environment? What do you do? So if you want to reduce your overwhelm, here are 5 of my favorite top tips for you to use. So tip number 1 is a notification diet. So while I said stuff about notifications flying in on the screen, I have mine turned off. I don't get things coming in on the top of the screen with every single email or anything like that. That just doesn't happen. Email's not there until I check it. Slack isn't even there until I check it. Those kind of things don't turn on. And if you're really smart, you'll actually close them so the little tiny icon that shows you how many things are unread will be off. I look at notifications as energy vampires. Like, people can be energy vampires too, right? But notifications that come in and go, you've got mail, that is playing on your FOMO, your fear of missing out. It's also playing on your disaster anxiety. If you are worried every moment that something disastrous is going to happen and you get a notification, you better check that notification. Reducing your fear overall is a great thing to do, but meanwhile, just turn the buzzing lights off. All right, second hack is what I call the power appointment. So this is an appointment with yourself to do some work on your business. So if you say, I'm going to write this blog post from 10 to 10:30, awesome. Then make sure you keep that appointment with yourself just the same way you keep an appointment with a client. The thing is that I used to book lots of time with myself. Like, I'd say, oh, I'm going to do 4 hours on XYZ. Guess what? Does not work. So if I say I'm going to do 4 hours on this project, I can say, well, maybe I can steal 2 hours for this other thing. Instead, give yourself short appointments. Give yourself 30-minute appointments, 45, maybe an hour long, so you're not tempted to use part of it for something else, but you can really get a focused amount of work done. And another tip, don't say something like, hey, I'm going to work on my book during this appointment. Instead, say, I'm going to outline this chapter during these 30 minutes. All right, tip number 3, hack number 3 is thinking time energy boost. So this is when I get to sit. I actually sit on my chair, my couch at home, cross-legged. That's like my favorite place to work, my favorite way to work, with either my laptop or, in this case, a journal on my lap. So for thinking time, it has to be a journal. If I have my computer open, my brain's in a completely different state. But if I have my journal open, then I'm in dreamland. I'm like, what are all the ways I can think of to accomplish this in my business? What are the things that I should actually do? I can go within, I can use intuition. So I'm going to suggest a minimum of an hour a week thinking time. Like, that's another power appointment, all right? But if not, at least schedule some time, get your journal out and think. And I'm not talking about pages where you do stream of consciousness stuff. I'm talking about asking yourself a question for growing your business and brain dumping, writing in your journal. Do some deep thinking. Ideally, you'd do 30 to 45 minutes a day. I'm working up to that. Hack number 4, conscious decluttering. Okay, so I work in a pretty neat space. Like, clutter is not necessarily a problem for me, but there are a couple of different kinds of clutter that may not look like clutter to you that are a problem. So one of them for me is food clutter. So if I have a dirty dish on my desk, or if I have heaven forbid, actual food there, like, people put candy dishes, I don't do that stuff, but like a jar of peanuts or something like that on my desk, cannot concentrate. The food calls to me. So I know I have to have a food-free zone in order to work. Now, water is a different thing. Water is a life-giving fluid. I have a bottle of water always, and occasionally a cup of tea, but no food. So the other thing is noise. Because I'm an auditory, I process auditorily. Some people process visually. I need to have my sound space clear. So you can do this with noise-canceling headphones and white noise coming in or something like that. I can't focus to music. I can't focus to other concentration or other conversations. So what is the clutter that has you distracted in your environment? And make sure you clear that clutter out. And hack number 5 is what I call strategic plan Z. So one of the things that distracts me is when I know that I've got something to solve, I'm waiting on feedback, from somebody and my brain's still churning, going, well, what if this and what if that, and that kind of thing. So what I do is just jot down for 5 minutes, if this happens, I'll do this. If this happens, I'll do that. If this happens, I'll do that. That gives that lizard part of my brain a chance to relax and say, wow, I've really got my bases covered. Now I can set it away until I figure out what's going to happen and focus on what I need to do. All right, so don't try to implement all 5 of these at once. That's a recipe for overwhelm. Instead, pick one and tell me which one you're going to implement in the next week. All right, because not being distracted is super important if you're trying to grow your business and make a difference in the world.